Hi, Lori and Team Lawson. It's Nick. I wanted to make another quick video for you. I understand there's some questions about what some of the different terms mean, like hosting or the domain, etc. So I'm just going to walk through this for you real fast here. All right, the first thing that you had to do is register a domain, and that is lawsonlandscapeservices.com. So basically what that is, think of that as your address, right? If I was going to meet you at the Starbucks in Santa Barbara and I gave you the GPS coordinates, that would technically be correct, but you'd be like, what's up with this guy? When I should really be saying it's on 123 Main Street. So this is the domain is basically the address for your website. Now, when the computers talk to each other, they talk to each other in binary code, in numbers, in ones and zeros that we don't understand. Well, I mean, some understand, but that really don't make completely impractical. So you register a domain. Now, this domain your company registered from, it looks like this is a service that tells me who registered a domain, Wild West Domains, which is right here. And that domain probably costs you it's an annual fee, probably costs you anywhere from $10 to $15 a year. If you get an invoice from Wild West Domains for your domain, pay it immediately, and I would pay 3 years in advance, 4 years in advance, something like that. It's super cheap. It's a no-brainer, and and I've had this happen to customers before, if that invoice gets put into the into the procrastination file and doesn't get paid, it's a big problem. So it means you can't get to your website anymore. The address doesn't direct you to your website. It becomes invisible. It becomes invisible to Google. It's a disaster, believe me. So anyway, Wild West Domains, the invoice comes by. That's one you got to pay right away, and it's cheap. So that's your domain, or it's also called your URL. So Lawson Landscape Services is your URL, which stands for Uniform Resource Locator, or your domain name. Okay. Second thing is hosting. Now, hosting is it's a data center basically, and what it is, think of it as the computers on which your website runs. So your website's not running on your laptop in your office, right? That's not practical either. It runs at a hosting company, and what they do is they have banks of computers. They'll carve out a little slice of one of those computers for your website, and then depending on the options you get, you might be able to get automatic failover. So if that computer goes down, it automatically fires up on another computer. Maybe they back it up for you, so if it crashes, you'll have the backup file, or maybe you have to back it up yourself. I don't know, but there's a number of options. Your hosting company looks like it's LeaseWeb, so maybe that rings a bell. I'm assuming, depending on the options you have, LeaseWeb, that bill is probably anywhere from $80 a year to maybe $150 a year, depending on the options and what type of speed they're offering to you. So that's the hosting. Those are the computers on which your website runs. Now, the third thing is the software that your website was built in. So if you think about software, you think about maybe you write your letters in Microsoft Word. That's that software. You write do your spreadsheets or your budget or something in Microsoft Excel. This website was built in something called WordPress. And I looked it up, and it says Lawson Landscape Services, WordPress 5.4.1, all good there. WordPress is great. About 1/3 of the entire internet, all the websites on the internet, are built on WordPress. And why is that good? That's good because that means that the bad guys, the hackers, are banging on it constantly, and that the good folks at WordPress and the other software companies that help support it are constantly working to battle harden it, as I call it, and keep you safe from the bad guys. So there's a lot of experience out there. If you and I are working together, and at some point we decide to shake hands and part friends, you can find another highly experienced WordPress developer very quickly. And that's a problem for some of these niche kind of website builders out there, like There's many of them out there. Anyway, good news is you're good with WordPress, and Google loves WordPress. And so the main thing you want to do with your website, you can have the most beautiful website in the world, but if nobody finds it, it does not matter. So you have to make it so it's visible to Google and that they can find it and direct people there. Okay, so those are the three things: the domain, the hosting company, and the content manager or the software that you're building. I'm going to do a little bit about SEO on the next video.